Hi team, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then hey, my name is Lara and this channel is all about productive and purposeful living. So today's video is all about getting your personal finances in order for 2020. But before we get to that, if you are a fan of productivity, a little bit of minimalism, and a touch of intentional living, then consider subscribing. I upload every Thursday, and you can subscribe by just clicking the bell, hitting that like button, and then you'll be notified of when new videos are up. Alright, back to it. I'm actually really excited to start getting on top of all of my finances for the new year. I really do enjoy, my husband thinks I'm a bit of a weirdo, but that's fine. I really like budgeting. I find it really interesting, and I like kind of knowing where I am and then being able to plan for a future, to try and dream up what I want to be able to get to and then find a way to make that happen. I think that's awesome. So I started 2019 with zero savings and no emergency fund to think of. And I also, I was doing a lot of what I call death by $20, which is when you're kind of like, oh, it's really not that much. It's only under 20 bucks. I'll just get that. And then that 20 bucks adds up. But by the end of 2019, I had a really good emergency fund, enough that when my dog got into an accident, we were able to pay for his vet bills immediately, straight off the bat, no questions asked. And a decent savings fund. But with a lot of things, I know that I can do better and I know that I can improve, and much like life, you should always be striving to do a little bit better than you did before. So I'm going to take you through step by step what my planning is for this year, and then hopefully it'll also help you to do your own. And like I said, I will have linked below a kind of a whole structure and workbook laid out that will help you to go through your own personal finances. Where to start? Start at the beginning. Start with tracking your finances. I cannot emphasize enough how important this is. I want you to go into your bank account, and what I did is I literally just copied and pasted out all of my outgoing, all of my debited cash and fees that kind of went out over the last 3 months. So I popped this into an Excel document, and then I just kind of go through and label things so I can really see how much I was actually spending on that thing over that month. So the point of this is kind of to see what money is going where. Because guaranteed there's gonna be a couple of surprises. I was really shocked that I was still doing death by $20, but it was really specific death by $20. It was no longer buying things. Like, I've been really good at not shopping and I've spent less money on getting stuff. However, a lot of that money was still going out, and it was mostly going towards food. Little bits here and there, let's go out and grab a coffee, let's go do this, let's do blah, blah, blah. And that all added up quite severely. So once you've kind of had a look at your expenses and you've kind of gone, this is the money that's going into this place, this is the money that I'm spending on this thing, really think about forward planning and your next set of goals. A lot of people are a fan of the 50-30-20 budget, which is 50% of your income goes towards spendings and wants, and then 20% goes into savings, 30% goes into your needs, things like bills, groceries, all that kind of stuff. That is not what I'm going to do moving forward. So I've actually broken it down. Ta-da! My plan. I am instead doing 50% into savings. So I've technically almost 60% if you count going into debt repayment. I'm doing 18% of my income going into an emergency fund. I'm doing 14% of my income going towards debt repayments and 28% into a savings account. So the reason I wanted to do this is because I really want to get on top of my debt repayments. I looked at my ATO, which is like our taxation department, and my student loan debt, what we call HELP, what used to be called HEX, what is student loans in the US, what is probably another name in various other countries, has gone up by about 5 grand since I went to uni, which is crazy. So I'm going to start actively paying off that debt because I loathe debt. I have never once owned a credit card because I think it's ridiculous to spend money that you don't have. and I'd rather be able to live within my means. Because I'm definitely a person that if you give me a magic card that says you can buy whatever you want on this, it is going to be maxed out. I don't have that kind of like, not self-awareness, self-control. I don't have self-control. The second change that I made, I was still going for around about last year. I was about 30%, 40% of my income going into savings. However, I kept withdrawing that savings again. Because it was in one of my regular accounts that I could just kind of transfer money over at the drop of a hat, I dipped into that savings fund a lot. So the change that I've made for 2020 is that I've made an external account with an entirely different bank that I'm going to have to transfer this money out of my bank into another one which won't have a card attached to it, that will just sit there. So if I want to get that money out, I'm going to have to physically go into that store and be like, can I please transfer? So the other reason that I'm going kind of hard at my savings and switching it to being 50, almost 60% of my income is that I really want to travel more in 2020. One of my 2020 goals is to go to 10 countries. Hence, having a decent chunk of savings and savings system set in place. The next thing that I found from tracking my spending is that there were a bunch of subscriptions that I kind of wanted to get rid of. A couple of them were necessary, but I want to limit the amount that I have. Over the course of the month, of those 3 months, I had 3 different streaming services. And I also deleted things like Uber Eats because a lot of the money going out of my account was also going towards delivered food. I thoroughly recommend going through those subscriptions and thinking about what you really need, what is actually a necessity, and what is just convenient or is just kind of like, oh yeah, I'll do that because it's there. The next super fun thing on my list of super fun things to get done, figure out a better budgeting system. So I had an online budget that was like, yeah, I'm gonna allocate roughly this much to blah, 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 blah. Unfortunately, it's really easy to overspend that amount and to just retrieve pockets of money from elsewhere to support your Uber Eats habit or your insane amount of streaming services habit. So instead this year, I'm going to be doing that kind of Dave Ramsey cash envelopes type system. So I'm going to allocate a certain amount of money. I even bought envelopes for it. Ooh, color-coded. So I'm going to be taking the cash route this year because I think that having physical money and having to hand it over will make me think twice about the value of things if I only have that much to spend. The other thing that I adapted this year in terms of a budget system is I put in place a lot more automation for 2020. So I automated a lot of my bills. I automated my debt repayment, so it's going to come out every week regardless. I've automated my money into savings accounts. All of those things are now going to happen as soon as my pay enters. Because I remember the days when I was at uni and I was living off $50 a week. I have no idea how I did it, but I did it. I think it's because when you have an amount of money, you figure out a way to live off that amount of money. So I'm going to attempt to do a little bit of limiting in 2020 with my fancy new cash envelopes. So it is actually really easy to go through your finances, to have a look at what you're spending stuff on, to track it, to continue tracking it, and I would recommend doing a refresh on tracking every 3 months to find out where your money is going and then plan for where you want your money to go in the future. Make sure you are setting financial goals because when you're doing that, you're not just putting money away because I guess, yeah, sure, it's good to save or whatever. You're putting your money away for your house. You're putting money away for that holiday you want to go on. You're putting money away for, I don't know, a castle. Whatever the thing is that you really want in your life, that is what you are saving for. So to help you to track your own and to get all this sorted, I have made a workbook for you. It is called Money Smart, Smart Money. A variation of those things. It's linked in the description box below for you. It's completely free. Grab it and sort out your finances. You'll be very, very happy that you did. Before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, paint a mural of my face, and as always, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. All right, peace.